Good evening, viewers. Good evening, church members. Good evening to everyone. Today we are gathered to have a discussion on legal issues. We are going to talk about acquisition of land. And today I'm privileged to have two lawyers who are in the Madina district to, to lead this discussion. I will give them the opportunity to introduce themselves. First person will be Bennett, who's on my left hand side.
Thank you, Henry. My name is Bennett Anim. I am a leader of young adults and a member of the Madina Central Secretariat.
Yes, I'm Justice Osei. I'm a member of the Madina East State Church. I'm a lawyer with the Ghana Armed Forces and also I do private practice as well.
Okay. Thank you and welcome again.
Thank you.
Viewers, my name is Henry Michael Obin. I'm a member of the Madina Central SDA Church. Every young man's desire, let's say every human being, once you started to work a little is to, you have to pay rent because most likely you all don't live in Accra. Some will leave their villages to come to Accra to work, look for greener pasture. Day by day, year by year, rent prices are increasing. So everybody's dream is to own a property. So that would be having to buy a land or having to buy a property on its own. Today, we want to learn more about owning a property starting from the very scratch. So, what is a property in the first place? What is a property? And if there are any forms of property, I don't know, Justice, if you want to start.
All right, so thank you very much. So when we talk of property, essentially it means a right to the use of anything, where you have that ownership right over a certain asset. But legally speaking, when we talk of property, essentially you're looking at two main things, what we usually call movable and immovable property. For movable property, you are looking at assets that can move, like cars, like interest in company and all of those shows in action. See. But the main property that we'll be interested in respect of this discussion is immovable property. Sometimes we also call it real property. That is ownership of land and anything that is attached to the land. So that is property for you.
So, continue our discussion. We hear that land. Is it possible that land depreciates, especially in the society, in the country where we are? Because some like you rightly mentioned, there are other forms of properties, and some will say a car is not a property. But why is land a valuable property than a car?
In our setting, land is a valuable property because of its nature. Land naturally appreciates in value. The value of land today is not the value that you would get tomorrow. And no two lands are also the same. So the value of land in Medina will not be the same as the value of land in East Legon. That is why you will find people struggling to get properties in certain parts of town, because of the value, and the value will continue to go up as long as we continue to be around. So the value of land today will not be the same as that tomorrow. So the value will continue to appreciate.
Good. So coming to our setting, our locality, who are the owners of lands in our, in our jurisdiction in Ghana? Who are the owners of lands that people can go to buy?
So essentially, ownership of lands in Ghana, they are vested in three main people. We have what we call allodia owners. So essentially, they are the stool, the skin, that is the traditional authority that is in charge of a particular place. We can also have instances where families also own land. And that is really the case in this part of Ghana. Accra, for instance, we have several families owning different parts. And we also have individuals. In very rare circumstances, individuals also owning lands. So basically, these are the three main streams
Okay. So,
people
okay.
that can. But the government too would also have an opportunity to own land through what we call compulsory acquisition.
Okay.
With that power, the state can take over the lands belonging to either the individual, the family, or to pay the appropriate compensation and take over the land. So
Okay.
that is how ownership of lands in Ghana is listed.
Okay. So let's get to it. I'm a young man. I've started to work. I've paid rent over a period of time. I'm tired. I want to own a land. I want to build something. What am I looking at? What are the processes? What do I need to know? And what are the steps to take to be able to own a land?
Okay. To own a land, meaning you have acquired the land. I mean, the general term that we use is to buy. I've bought land, or
Sure.
I've acquired a land. When you identify a land and you are interested, you wish to buy it, there are several processes that you must go through
Okay.
in order that that land could be acquired by you.
Sure.
Now in Ghana, we have basically two main forms of dealing in land transactions.
Okay.
You have formal means and informal. So I've seen a land, I want to acquire it. Informally, just as the owner, I talk to him, how much is it? This is the land, it is lying here, I'm the owner. We talk about the price and I say I'm interested, then I pay. That is the informal way of buying land. And there's a formal way. And unfortunately, maybe because of the way things happen in this part of town, the informal means of acquiring land is more predominant, is more popular than the formal means of acquiring land. Maybe because people do not want to, go through all the processes. They don't want to pay legal fees. Sort of in acquiring land, and so eventually, the troubles accompanying the land acquisition will come, and you would definitely return to a lawyer or so to solve those problems. But the formal means of acquiring a land is to identify the land, conducting some searches, enter into a contract to buy the land. Then after you have entered into a contract to buy the land, now you have, let's say, locked the owner.
Okay.
Because you have entered into a contract with him, he will not sell the land to another person. Then after you have entered into a contract, you take time to, do the other things that you must do. And then later, you draw or sign a conveyance, which could be a conveyance, a freehold assignment, whatever we do. Then the land will become yours. So the formal means of acquiring land is that which is preferred, but unfortunately, the informal means of land acquisition is more predominant.
Why is the informal means more predominant? Because you just mentioned the advantages, the less, worries in doing it formally. So why don't people do it formally? And then why is the legal issue something that people want to run away from?
Well, for my part, I think essentially one is due to the lack of education. People think that the business of acquiring land is just like going to town or to the market to buy paper or something. There is a laid down procedure that you must necessarily have to go through. Or else you might find yourself in a situation where you buy the land and subsequently somebody comes and take over the land because you you did not go through the lay down procedure. And I think secondly too has to do with the Ghanaian nature. So, you don't like to pay for professional services. You believe that, oh, this thing I can do it, I know it. Even if a Ghanaian is sick, instead for him to go and see the medical doctor for he wants to go to this wayside person to help him solve his problem. So principally two things: lack of education, and for me, not paying for the proper legal service. That's what accounts for this.
But people
situation.
not paying for, is it because the legal fees might be outrageous? Is it a reason or that people wouldn't want to go through a legal means of acquiring the land?
Well,
Or let me put it this way: how much should it averagely cost for one to hire a legal professional to advise him or her on purchasing a land?
well, it depends on the type, the size of land, the value involved, and the work involved. And of course, if you are buying a land and you engage the services of a lawyer, there's so many things that goes into the acquisition. I mean, before you say that you have been able to acquire the land, so many things must have been done before the land becomes yours. And you do not know. Indeed, you may not even be willing to go through all such processes. But the legal person or the lawyer who has been trained in land acquisition knows all the troubles. I mean, he takes all the trouble that he must go through to buy a land. Let's say you want to buy a land. So you are a young man, you started, you've engaged in some commerce, or you started some employment, you want to buy a land. You've seen somebody who has represented to you that is the owner of the property, so you want to buy it. You don't just go ahead and pay because you say the property is 100,000. You are in a hurry because he tells you that so many people have come. I didn't give it to them, but I want to give it to you. If the story is too good to be true, you just have to stay back and then take it. So, I mean, there are processes. The lawyer will know the process, but you might not know all the processes, and you end up buying litigation rather than buying a land.
So for a land that costs about, let's say, 60,000 Ghana cedis, how much should one be looking at for legal fees? Justice, you know to take that.
Well, I think that it depends. It's negotiable.
Yeah.
Well, we have what we call the GBA scale of fees. It gives us the rate we can charge a client for services. I don't think it will be more than 20% of the value.
Okay, 20%.
Yes, but it's still negotiable.
Sure.
And I'm saying that it's always better to seek legal advice from the outset rather than when issues crop up. Because when the issues are there and you are very hot, the lawyer will charge you a very high price. But from the outset, investigation, due diligence, it wouldn't cost you that much. But if you want to proceed on your own, and issues come, the lawyer knows that you are in trouble. So he will take his pound of flesh at that stage.
So you're advising that even if you can't fully manage the fees of a lawyer, if you have a friend that is a lawyer, is it advisable to also involve that friend in the purchase of a land?
Absolutely. Why not? You may want to seek advice of a lawyer. And why it's important that you seek an advice of the lawyer is that you can hold him liable for any professional negligence or whatever advice he gives you. But if you should go through the process on your own and any issues come up, it will be entirely your own problem.
Okay. So I've seen something that lands are leased, that they are not fully sold outright to the buyer. How do you explain this? Because I see something like the land is for 70 years. Does it mean that after the 70 years, the owner's generation or the owner, if he's lived or he or she has lived for long, can come back for the property?
Okay. Let me just explain this. Usually when you talk of ownership of lands, talk of more of interest.
Okay.
Lawyers, we usually talk of interest in land rather than being the owner of land. So you can have two subsistent interests in land. Somebody can be the alludia owner, that is, he can own it forever. I
Okay.
can have a leasehold. So when you see a lease essentially means that the duration is fixed.
Okay.
And in Ghana, if you're a Ghanaian or you can have it up to 99 years. A foreigner who counts for a lease only up to 50 years.
Okay.
So a lease is for a fixed duration. That is a lease. And we have the other freehold. Freehold essentially means it's forever, but
Okay.
it's usually for subjects. When I say subject, let's say I'm a subject of Madina. I can acquire the land, the freehold land. Otherwise, a stranger, you cannot have that freehold interest in land. So basically, that is the distinction. Leasehold for a fixed duration. Freehold for that long duration.
Okay.
Yes, okay. But let me answer the last part of your question. So let's say you are giving 50-year lease.
Yeah.
After the expiration, the person who gave you the land, whether your grantor or alludia owner, has a reversionary interest. So
Meaning.
meaning he, your grantor, becomes the owner
Okay.
of the land unless you make a provision in your lease that after the expiration of the lease, you have a right to renegotiate or to renew your lease so that people, your successors, may go and as it were, engage with them.
Sure. So by saying this, what they are implying is that before you take ownership or take interest in the land, there should be clear contracts to be signed on both sides, and not just receipts indicating that you bought the land.
No, so like you rightly said, I mean, when you buy a land, it is the interest in the land that you have acquired. So the same land that justice may have the allodial interest in it, I will also have a leasehold interest in the same land.
Okay.
So it is some portion of ownership in the same land that I have.
Okay.
And he may have some level of ownership in that same land.
Okay.
So if I see,
Without cutting you can have a situation where you have the allodial interest. Give me, I come for a leasehold of let's say 90 years.
Okay.
I can also give another person a sub-lease of let's say
50 years.
50 years.
Okay.
I can also give somebody an assignment. So there are several interests at play.
Yes. So,
yes. So the same land will have the same type of interest.
Yeah.
Now, in addition to that, if you have different types of interest, it means that as a buyer, if I'm going to buy a land, I should satisfy myself the type of interest that the seller has in the land. Because the seller can only sell to me what he has.
Okay.
In law, we call it
Okay.
nemudat. I
All
mean,
right.
the seller cannot give me what he does not have.
Okay.
So if I identify a land belonging to justice,
Yes.
in which justice has a leasehold,
Yes.
justice cannot, from his leasehold, give me another lease. He can only give me a sublease.
Okay.
Or he cannot give me a freehold from his lease.
Okay. Okay.
If justice has a leasehold, and that leasehold is 99 years, he can only give me, he cannot give me 100 years.
Yes.
Indeed, if he wants to give me all his 99 years, then the law is that what he's giving me is assigning, he is assigning all his interest to me. So let's say justice bought a land for 99 years, 2 years ago.
Sure.
So now he has left 97 years. Then I see him today, I said I want to acquire his land. Then he signs a document saying he's giving me 99 years. He can obviously not give me what he does not have.
Sure.
Once he has 97 years, he cannot give me 99 years.
Well,
so he
definitely.
can give me a sublease of say 20 years,
Okay.
30 years, or he can assign all his 99 years to me. Indeed, lease in Ghana can be as many years as possible, provided that you are Ghanaian. Like you rightly said, if you're a foreigner, you can only take a maximum of 50 years. But as a Ghanaian, the only requirement is that if it's a lease, it must have a start date. It must have an end date. This in Ghana is that lease is given for 90 years. There's no law backing that. It is only a practice.
Okay.
So we shouldn't take it that all leases are for 99 years. So or all terms are for 99 years. The person selling the land to you may have 50 years. So he cannot give you 99 years. So when you go through the process of land acquisition, you will get to appreciate the type of interest and the term of years that your grantor has in order that you know what to take.
So, from what you are saying, viewers, you have to take notice of the fact that before buying a land, you need to know whether the land is a freehold or it's a lease property. So, but if the seller tells you that it's a freehold, how do you verify?
Okay. Now, in Ghana, just as earlier said, there are 3 units that hold land, and the other governments. There's schools, there's kings, family, schools, king, family, and individuals. In Ghana, schools and family lands cannot be given out in freehold. Schools and family land cannot be given out in freehold. So if I go to see some family to buy a land, they cannot sell that land to me in freehold, meaning it cannot be sold to forever. It can only be given to me for a term of years. Okay. So if I'm going through the process of land acquisition, then of course I'll request for the title. I'll request the buyer for his title. Now the title will tell me what term he has, and will tell me the title that he has in the land. It will tell me whether he has a freehold in the land or a leasehold in the land. So if I know that he has a leasehold in the land, then of course he can only give me years. He can't give me freehold. If he has a freehold in the land, then of course he can either give me a freehold or lease out of that interest.
Can a legal advisor help you in knowing or verifying the documents of the seller?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one of the key requirements for a purchaser of land is to do due diligence. And the law would call that person equities darling. I don't want to go into the legalities. Essentially means that for a purchaser of land for value, when I talk of value, you are giving out something. It's not free, it's not a gift. You are giving monetary consideration for that. You are required to do diligence in respect to that. Who is the owner of the land? It's very, very, very critical. And for we lawyers, we are trained to go through the process, to check the boxes. So from the initial stage to the verification of the land, it might be affected by the local district or a plan by the municipal assembly saying it just purposes. Maybe the land for residential purpose, you just time, but you may not be able to build residential property where you are buying the land. So it is essential that you seek proper legal advice so that we can push it. One of the key issues for my practice that I realized that the superficial section. So they just get the list of that commission. That section. It is more than just practice.
Yeah.
Various levels to it. So
Okay. Just to add to what Justice has said, I mean, the searches and the investigations are very important. But then you may not appreciate, I mean, the levels of investigation you have to go through to satisfy yourself that this land is free. Going to land commission alone may not help you. Of course, you may go to land commission maybe to find whether or not the property is incumbent, whether or not the property has been acquired by somebody else. You may, if a lawyer is doing it for you, as part of the research, you may even request, make a request to the collateral division of the Bank of Ghana to check whether the property has been mortgaged.
Yeah.
Mortgaged, and you do not know the term of the mortgage, it means that when the mortgage is breached, your property is at risk.
Yeah.
But if the lawyer is doing this for you, obviously he's going to go through all the stages of searching. He's going to make a request to the town and county planning.
Sure.
The place you have, programmed to buy may have been earmarked for a road,
Sure.
earmarked for some other projects. So searches will be conducted at the town and county planning to satisfy the lawyer that no, this property, there is no plan, future plan related to this property, and so you can go ahead and purchase it.
Viewers, we are live on Facebook, the Madina Central SDA Church platform, and then district platform. So if you have any questions, you can put your questions in the comments, and then I'll put your questions to our guests today. So moving forward, if I'm part of let's say a group, let's say a teachers association, and then we've been told that there's a land here that this is selling, that we can buy a group. Will I still need a lawyer to lead that process when the group is going to buy the land, let's say like church group or that sort of thing?
Absolutely. You still need the services of a lawyer to lead the process. It doesn't take away the fact that, or if you're in a group, it will not take away the fact that all the legal requirements are possible. And in fact, critically, now with the passing of the Lands Act, the very recent Lands Act, even if you are buying a land which is for a couple, you would have to ensure that the two of them execute the agreement, or else you get nothing from it. That is the new requirements of the Land Act. So how would you as a layperson get to understand this new impact of legislation? You need a lawyer to guide you and to tell you that yes, this is looking at the scheme of things. So you would require the two of them to you. So it's very important that at every stage, irrespective of an individual or a group, services of a lawyer to assist you.
Okay. So let's say I went to buy a property, only to get to know that the seller actually sold the property to another person as well. How can the lawyer help me in this particular case?
Okay, you have bought a land.
Yeah. So I have a friend. It's been about 4 years or so. He purchased a land, paid something for it, and then he realized that the seller already sold it to another person as well. So what can a lawyer help this person to do?
Okay. Now, first and foremost, the law requires that every transaction related to land will have to be in writing.
Okay.
So if the transaction affects land, it's not that which is in writing. That transaction is not enforceable. You cannot enforce it. That is why it's important that prior to land acquisition, you enter into some form of contract, so that monies that you pay on that transaction will constitute some form of, or will be under some form of record or agreement. So unless that person who paid monies to the supposed landowner has receipts put together from that landowner, signed by that landowner, if that is the case, then he can make he can make representations to the lawyer with these receipts which have been signed by the person who sold. because there are some few exceptions against the fact that transactions in land must be in writing.
Sure, sure.
So that if the person attempted or sought to perpetrate based on this, can come back to, you can come back to a lawyer, and lawyer will assist you in retrieving that.
Okay, so to add to what my learned brother just mentioned, I think that this land act has really made significant inroads in terms of double sale of land. Now it has been criminalized. So any grantor who sells land to two different people may be the subject of criminal prosecution. But I also want to add that it is always important that you have every land transactions on record. It is very, very, very critical. So in the scenario you just pointed out, where the landowner sells to another person, if you are the first in time to have acquired the land or made a deposit or have a contract for the sale of land, your lawyer can go for what they call specific performance to cause the grantor to sell or to convey the interest in land to him rather than this other person. But all of this will have to be the documentation that
Well, what? Because in all our conversation here, I've never heard the name agents. But practically, when you have somebody who wants to go and buy a land, there is this agent. What part do they play in
well, a part of the world where we have a very informal system. You wouldn't know which land is available. You can barely know. So that is now the business of some people identify where we have lands and to ask it to offer their services to clients who are interested in acquiring land. So legally speaking, they are the middlemen between the prospective buyer and the owners of the land. Some of them is purely business. It has nothing to do with any knowledge in the acquisition of land. All that they are saying is that we can help you, lead you to their owner to buy the land, and we take our percentage. Essentially, that is the main business of agents.
Yeah.
But always be mindful that the agent is not responsible for any wrong that will come as a result of that acquisition.
unlike the lawyer?
Yes, the lawyer can hold him professionally liable for professional services he delivers. But for the agent, it's a free world, it's a free market economy. I can tell you this is the land, I'll leave you. So basically, not so much of a trouble for.
Now, let's say I have acquired the land. Permits by so. Now I've acquired the land and I want to build. Why can't I just go ahead and build my house? But then I need to go to avoid the red paintings or after I put that.
Okay. So, before you can put up a building on your own land, you still must take permits from the local authority, the local assembly. And if such permits are not taken, then and the building erupts,
Yeah.
the assembly by their guards will come and indicate on the property that you have not obtained permit to erect this property or this building. So when such is written on your building, it means that you have not you have not previously obtained a permit to put up the property.
Sure.
And it will just require you to walk to the assembly and obtain such permit so that you can proceed with your.
In seeking the permit, do you have to let the authority know the type of, let's say the type of edifice you are putting up?
Yes.
Is it part of the process?
Absolutely. Every municipality or area where it's going to be a residential area, we have all that. So your building will have to fit to that plan. And let me give you a classic example. Say you are part land at airport residential area. there is a limit you can build up to on
Okay.
a certain story. Let's say
Okay.
a 3-story. Because from that, yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's also a limit, a limit. So
Okay.
it's essential that you build it in those levels. Take it for granted. That, oh, this is my land, from here to the skies, I can build whatever.
Okay.
There is a limit to it.
Okay.
Other businesses, aviation, and all these matters as well. So it's important you see.
Our discussion to a close. We've spoken a lot in English. I don't know which one of you will be comfortable to break down, summarize whatever we've discussed in our local language, actually, letting us know the processes to go through before showing an interest or making it interest.
Well, okay. It's just in the case, the Casafa assassin at home. And lawyer, the Kanka assassin, and to say, assassin told to say in Yadua Tona by Reto. Assassin at it's a Belua. Woodington. Your set. Lassana Mato. Once at Pese Opa. They said, we young people move. If I say, Sassia, as soon as I said, any damn pan. I said, oh, Kobe, be assassin, one could be sunk for forming a bush here. Sassy with a wine there. Sassy with a wine there. And so we young people move up as a that was assassin. A pint the Biana. As I see, we are buying an audience or the harbor be used to Biana. Obesan akwa yen hwemu asase we obi an fan kosi a wo an fan kwaji ilu na na wo yen san hwemu ni yen wi na wakoma to yem se asase we e ho da e kwan a ende obetimi ni nipa na asase ye ne dia asan contract na mo san contract ni wi a fi asase ne ho enkomo ene ho de aka nyina wapemra ni ni na waboa wo san akwa kan se mra ni ni amboa wo se e wa wasase to mu a bibia ebe wa you say wunim nanso na bibi ba ku wo a unim ai say mra ni ni na ebo a de a ende nka obehu wo to asase ni nyina wi a document e wo asase no eso e friend say conveyance a be chere say we freehold just we dey offer na kra we dey a lease e make dey pim da bi we assignment we dey na o dey ma me sub lease no sub document no emra mu lawyer pen betimi aye lawyer pen betimi aye sa document no emra mu dia and say as I say opa lawyer na obo a sa kwan so wadam fu no wunim kwan bi aso it's can e so opa lawyer ni bi ma o kire wo no obo awo asase no eto o wie document ni nyina wie document no lawyer no ye de bra o pe na o sign wie a e se mo ko na mo stamp so oh land commission 2 months pepe unya sign wie pe bosumi wie no edi achi na pe ese mo kokko stamp so wan ko stamp so na bosumi inu ni twamu na wo kwa obetua ho penalty stamp no duty no obetua e ho penalty so obesan tua se kan asase na kuma fa bi asase a ese e ho de utumi nya land title ana bi akofo dia na bi aka untumi nya land title no dia eno document na nka san e fa instrument eno eso register so bosumi miensa to ko title a bosumi miensa mo sign document ni wi pe eso de call land title registry na kokoye wire stamp na wi kokoye enso bosumi miensa no wan fa anko ye registration no na wo de call mra atwamu a eno so ho penalty so ho a wo betua ese wo ye side stage ni mu nyina ko udi mu ansan na bi se waka se asase na matona kra media ha adi nyina mu no lawyer say asase no enye te se enye yogurt a obetuma hia obi kwa so aka se mamento baako ana mento mienu asase ade a esombo pa asase ehoma nso adoso ese anse ngofo fa asase ni ntino kalabule fo so adoso asase mu a omo ton asase baako ton mo nipa be bebere nti ɔsi ayi sɛ wogye afotu efi lawyer bi hɔ na ɔboa wɔn asase to nti pɛsɛ de kasa de mu nyinaa.
nti mede kakraka deɛ mi nua ne kae bɛka sɛ afei nso wobɛhia surveyor sɛ ɔbɛboa wo paa apart from sɛ wobɛhia lawyer na mesua ehunu mu adeɛ baako pɛ mehunu sɛ ɛtɔ da bi akɔ akɔtɔ asase ɛde asase no akyerɛ wode w'ani ahu na nso asase no ɛyɛ nsuo mu asase dry season na wokɔɛ ne ɛde asase de kyerɛ wo wakɔyɛ biribia but sɛ wofa obi a wɔnimdeɛ wɔ asase ho a wobɛhu sɛ papa aha sɛ ɛyɛ nsuo mu ɛmmoa wo wosi dan wei a ɛnyɛ yi nti twe ho firi ho nti ɛho hia paa sɛ wotu anammɔn biara wobɛhwehwɛ ɔmo wɔ nimdeɛ ɛwɔ dwumadie surveyor anaa lawyer wokɔɔ lawyer hɔ a yɛne surveyors no ɛna ɛdidi kaso ɛdi dwumabɔ nti ɛho bɛhia sɛ wopɛ sɛ wotɔ asase a ɛntena wo dɛm anaa ɛmfa agentfoɔ tu anammɔn no kɔhu nimdeɛfoɔ na yɛnkyerɛ wo kwan no sika kakra na wobɛtua no ɛbɛboa wo sen sɛ daakye bi no asase no a wobɛtɔ no nyinaa no ɛbɛfiri nsa kakra no bɛka
And that's so viewers, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with us during these legal issues concerning land ownership. We hope to be with you again tomorrow on another topic. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening of the camp meeting. God bless us all.